Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only Dawg Knight.
Hey, nothing like your entire computer screen going black right seconds before you're supposed to start the show. That's not me. Stop that. Let's do this one. I don't even know if you can freaking hear me, but good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as Dawg Knight on the internet. And if you can hear me, well, that's good, because I'm not sure, because my computer is not recovered. So maybe you're seeing me, maybe you're not. I don't freaking know. So, the good news is Doggo is fine. Had a bit of a scare. We weren't sure. We didn't know what to think. He was having big problems. A couple days ago, he was limping really bad. And then the night before last, he did not sleep the entire night. He whimpered the entire night standing, never laid down once. And apparently, we knew he was having some kind of pain in his leg, but then we were thinking, oh my gosh, is this something more serious? And so, we took him to the vet, or I took him to the vet yesterday. But yesterday morning, he seemed a little better. He actually laid down for the first time in probably, good 24 hours. And then I took him to the vet, and we got to the vet, and he gets up on the scale and promptly lays down on it. And the doctors, manipulating stuff. And I thought maybe he had a pain in his chest. I tried brushing him, because she's shedding. The summer shedding's starting to happen. And so I started brushing him, and he yelped really loud, like ready to bite me. He was in so much pain when I got near his, under his left front paw. And so I'm like, oh my God, is it something internal, whatever. So we're like, okay, we got to go to the vet. So I took him to the vet, and she figured out that he probably just had some kind of a neck injury, and the pain was just radiating down from his neck. So we had to, we got some pain medication for him, and he actually was doing so much better when we got to the vet. That's, of course, you get to the vet and he seems just fine, but then as she starts manipulating him and testing things and whatever, he realizes that he turns his neck one way and he's in good pain. So got some medication and whatever, and we got some, just instructions what to do, and he can't go up and down the stairs too much and run or whatever for a while. And we got to use a harness instead of a collar, leash and collar. So anyway, he's fine. Clifford is fine. I don't even know if I have any pictures of Clifford, but you may have seen pictures of him before on other things I do. Anyway, so the dog's fine, and we're treating him with kid gloves for the next few days. Not letting him go out and chase squirrels in the backyard for a couple days and run up and down the stairs and whatnot. So he's fine. We're good. So, but I got a show to do, and I can't sit here and talk about my dog. And I'm glad that looks like the connection's working. Wasn't so sure a minute ago. Literally with 15 seconds of the countdown, everything went, the whole screen went black except for Streamlabs. The Streamlabs app, but the rest of the screen went completely black. I'm like, what the hell? So, but it came back, and I'm obviously, you can see me now, and can you hear me now? Who had that commercial? Who had the "Can you hear me now" commercials? Remember that one of the phone carriers had that, and I'm not even sure that phone carrier still exists. Was that Verizon? Well, Verizon exists, obviously, but anyway. So let's get the show started. We're going to talk a lot about that guy and some of the reactions to the Trump trial, which the jury is deliberating right now. Who knows? We could have a verdict while we're sitting here talking, for all I know. We'll see, I guess. But let's say hi to everybody. We'll get to that. First, the chat on Rumble. Oh, wait. Hang on. What's going on here? First, the chat on Rumble. Mr. Avocados Diablo gets the bell. And also, good morning, Phantom Dog Fart, the greatest name on the internet. Best username on the internet, Phantom Dog Fart. So that's it. Just you two. Well, there's 6 others, but I don't know who you are because you're not saying anything in the chat. Say something in the damn chat so I know who you are, because it's not like YouTube where I can just go click a little button up here and go, oh, here's everyone who's here. On Rumble, they don't have that feature yet, so you got to do that. On YouTube, first in the chat is Somnambule Nation. Good morning. Also, Avocado Stably, of course. And welcome to Kara Soldier, Attack Alpaca, Lord Stanhope, Trippy Liberty. What's up, my brother? Good morning. Hello to my favorite Canadian Jaeger ponies in the house. What's going on here? Why did that do that? This is annoying. I'm having a rough day with technical stuff. Also, if this stream dies like it seems to do every day now, hang out for a few seconds and we'll tell you where to go if you have to. Because sometimes I can reset Streamlabs and it'll come back before YouTube dies, and sometimes it doesn't if you're watching on YouTube. So we'll figure it out if it happens again. It seems I still haven't figured out why it's doing that. Someday we'll probably have to just back out all the Streamlabs stuff and reload it again and start over, but we'll see. Anyway, also good morning to the Haram Life. What's happening? Good morning. Also, well, is there Darren Roots here? Good morning. And TC's in the house. JMK is here. Steph Colonel, what's up, Steph? You know who you are. Another friend from Hotep Nation. Also, good morning to who else is here? Unacceptable Views, another one of our great Canadian viewers. Good morning, Annalyn. What's up? Good morning. Is that it? I gotta scroll so much because it's been on here for a while. I guess that's everybody, at least who's made an effort to say hi in the chat. So there you go. We're gonna talk about the good judge here soon, but let's get into just a few things that are happening in the world. Oh, I got to change that too. See, I'm having a rough morning. I'm telling you. I didn't get a whole lot of sleep last night either. That's probably part of it. Anyway, let's change this real quick. There is no. Oh my gosh, is it the last day of the month, or is there a May 31st? Is there a May 31st in May? I don't even remember. I thought May ended on the 30th. I don't know. I have no idea. Where's my phone, too? My phone's missing. What the hell did I do with my phone? Oh, well. Doesn't matter. Let's fix this. Give me a second, guys. Sorry about that. Well, looks like there is. Okay, there we go. You have no idea what I was just doing. All right, let's get into some things that are happening in the world. Then we'll get into talk about Judge Juan Merchan, who's done everything possible in this Trump Manhattan whatchamacallit case to direct the jury to give the verdict that he seems to want. TC's over on Rumble too. I see you. But we'll get to that after we talk about other stuff. Things trading in the internet today. One that caught my eye in particular, as I'm not a huge baseball fan, but I am very interested in the history of baseball. And Major League Baseball has done something interesting. And it is the reason that Josh Gibson, the great player back from the Negro Leagues back in the day, was playing, because Major League Baseball is now including Negro League statistics in Major League Baseball statistics. So now the new king of batting average and slugging percentage is now Josh Gibson from the was it the Baltimore Grays? I can't remember where the Grays were from. Several major league records are now held by Josh Gibson as he and other Negro League legends officially join the all-time leaderboards. The statistics of more than 2,300 Negro League players launched today in a newly integrated MLB.com database. I'll put this here, that presents records from 7 different Negro Leagues from 1920 to 1948 with long-standing American League and National League records. So now if you look on here, Josh Gibson, if this picture will ever pop up, has surpassed Ty Cobb in career batting average. And then Oscar Charleston's also joining there. Then Roger Hornsby from played in the major leagues. Judd Wilson, Turkey Stearns, several Negro League players are now added to this career batting leaders. Career OBP, on base percentage, Ted Williams still number 1, Babe Ruth still number 2, but Josh Gibson is now number 3 on that list. You add in career slugging, Josh Gibson ahead of Babe Ruth and Ted Williams and Lou Gehrig. And then Josh Gibson also the career. I'm not sure what OPS. Someone tell me what OPS stands for. I'm not sure what that does. I always know it's OPS as Omaha Public Schools. Oh my! No! Oh my God! What? What the hell is wrong with you, AD? Oh my God. What about stolen bases? That's not even funny. I know what you did there. That's not funny. That's not funny. No, OPS. OBS is on base percentage. That's this one, the other one over here. On base percentage, OBP. But what is OPS? I don't know what that is. Is it something something per game? I'm not sure. I don't know. I know OPP. I bet you do, Somnable Nation. I got you. Anyway, so you know what? I think that's pretty cool. And maybe if you're a baseball purist, you don't or whatever. I don't care. You know, a lot of the Negro League players could have easily played in MLB if they would have been allowed to. So outs per swing. Oh, okay. I got you. So, Eddie. Oh, you're not down with Somnambulation. I'm not down with it. You down with OPP? Yeah, you know me. You down with OPP? Yeah, you know me. I'm not down with OPP. I don't do OPP. So, anyway. All right. So, there you go. Excuse me. I do have my Cup of Reparations Cup in the Drake University Bulldogs Cup, which is where I went to school. Quick reminder. Oh, Nomad's in the house. Stop. Hammer time. Just a reminder before I go on to the Morning Night Live is brought to you by you, the viewers of the Morning Night Live. If you would be so kind, you can sponsor the show in several ways. One would be to hit that like button, which everyone can do. It doesn't cost you a dime. Also, if you haven't shared the stream, well, I would love to see you share the stream too. And if you want to sponsor the show in a more substantial and beneficial way to the host, well, then you can always hit pdognight.live. That's where you can do super chats for this show. The best place to do super chats. Now, you can do them on YouTube and on Rumble Rants and YouTube super chats, but when you do pdognight.live or the Streamlabs link that pops up in the chat every once in a while, that you give less money to YouTube, and more of the money you intend to help the show actually helps the show. And hopefully, for some reason, my Streamlabs dashboard has been logged out again too, so maybe that's why. Is it working? No, it's making me log in. Man, I tell you what, this thing's messing me up. I don't know what's going on here. So anyway, all right, we'll get into more of the show as soon as I fix Streamlabs. Pisses me off. Oh, it is working already. All right, cool. I just can't get into the dashboard there. So anyway, the link there that says tip your bartender. Well, if you're wondering who the bartender is, that would be me. On base per slugging? No, I don't think so. It can't be. Anyway, Or is it? Did you just look that up? Can we go one stream without discussing your oh, I don't know. What? What? Y'all have some weird conversations. All right, let's move on. No, I just think that's cool though. I like the idea. Now, also trending is, well, Robert De Niro's trending, and I'm sure most of you have seen this already. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. But people are reacting to Robert De Niro going out and giving a speech out in front of the Trump trial in New York City. Now, remember, Robert De Niro has played a tough guy on many different things, and he acts like he's a tough guy when he talks and bitches about Trump. But I don't know if Robert De Niro is really a tough guy. But anyway, some people are reacting to Robert De Niro. This gentleman in particular is very happy how Robert De Niro was destroyed, and so I figured this be a good video to watch. You know, on Thursday I like to watch videos, and so this is the video we're gonna watch today, because this guy, I think this guy may explain a little bit about what happened with Robert De Niro. So let's just watch it to see what it says.
Robert De Niro to shut the fuck up.
Oh!
Nobody want to hear shit you got to say. Television talking about some Trump is a menace. Trump is going to bring war. Trump is going to put us in turmoil. We are already in turmoil. Motherfuckers like him are out of touch with reality. Why the fuck you keep bringing up this man Trump? Ass is fucking high. Groceries is high. Rent is high. Minimum wage not going up for nobody. And you had the nerve to sit here on fucking stage and talk about some Trump going to bring turmoil? Sleepy Joe going to sleep. Sleepy Joe has already brought down fucking turmoil. Sick of motherfuckers like this. How the fuck you gonna tell us to vote for Sleepy Joe after what the fuck been going on for the last 4 goddamn years? How? Now, if you don't like Trump because some shit that happened back in the day between you and him, whatever. But our motherfucking choices is Trump and Sleepy Joe. And you ain't about to tell none of us that Sleepy Joe is better choice than goddamn Trump. And get your old working dead ass the fuck off TV. Silly motherfuckers like this get on television talking about shit that don't got nothing to do with nothing. It is survival of the goddamn fittest right now. The election's not even until another 6 months. Let's talk about what the fuck is going on right now. Ain't nobody voting for goddamn Sleepy Joe. Stop trying to fucking convince us that he's the better choice. Because you got paid. What have you done for the people, Robert De Niro? Can you name a goddamn Robert De Niro movie? Cause I sure the fuck can. 100,000 quadrillion billion years old. You motherfucking boomers who still live in the fucking past. Take your ass back to your goddamn mansion and leave us people the fuck alone.
Okay. I now let me just give a caveat here, because he mentioned boomers, and I remind you that I am the last boomer, and so I just want to make sure that I just want to make sure it's not boomers necessarily that would be the problem. So just, I'm going to lighten this up. There we go. I need to apply that. And what the hell happened there? What the hell happened there? What is, by the way, thank you, Black Hebrew Israelite. Welcome, Black Hebrew Israelite, by the way.
That's right.
What the hell is going on? How'd that happen? Let's fix that. Holy shit. Yeah, I don't think I have anything to add to what that gentleman said. Now, if you don't know what he's talking about, well, first, let's see. Black Hebrew Israelite, thank you for dropping a deuce in the tip jar via YouTube Super Chat saying, are we talking about the Mook and the traders 1 through 12? What? Wait, what? Okay. Hello, Zed the Snarky, too. He ain't wrong, but why is he holding back? Yeah, I don't know. He's so demure about his position on Robert De Niro. So let's see if we can find. Well, first of all, Robert De Niro tried to give a speech in front of the Trump trial, and apparently he ended up looking he started to give this speech, and I know he had that Michael Fanone dude. You know who Michael Fanone is? He's one of the January 6th Capitol Police officers. He's the one with the neck tats and all that shit. And he's the one who supposedly got knocked out and carried on a stretcher. And look, Michael Fanone should not have been injured during the January 6th shit. But look, he's been milking it like a motherfucker. So he had Michael Fanone behind him and some big ass bodyguard, because Robert De Niro is just a diminutive little shit. No matter how big he looks on TV, he's a little dude. He's barely, he's not, okay. He's not like the Penguin short, like, Danny DeVito short, but he's short. He's like 5'6" or 5'5", and I know that's almost average, but to me, as someone who's 6'4", and I always think of Robert De Niro bigger than life on screen, and he's barely like 5'5". Anyway, here's Robert De Niro. This is what this whole tirade was about. Robert De Niro acting like a bitch in front of the Trump trial. Here's a clip. I think he got drowned out by people protesting him. Here it is.
And elections, forget about it. That's over. That's done.
Oh, he's saying that again. This is a stupid talking point from the Democrats that if Donald Trump's elected, we're never going to have an election again. We're going to be in dictatorship and blah 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 blah. Because of course there is no there is no, what do you call it? There's no checks and balances in our government. Yeah, whatever happens, and it's just going to be, Donald Trump will become president, then he'll just call in the military and tell him to shoot everyone in Congress and whatnot. Like, that's going to happen. But anyway, this is Robert De Niro bitching.
If he gets in, I can tell you right now, he will never leave. He will never leave.
You
know
hey,
that.
Dummy. Oh, 112, I got you.
He will never leave. What does that mean? Is that the country we want to live in?
It means you're an idiot.
Him running this
it means
country
you're an idiot. That's
saying,
what
I'm
it means.
leaving,
Hello, Tyler.
I'm dictator for life. I hope this new ad campaign reaches outside the bubble to remind supporters of what a danger he is to our lives.
No.
This is not a threat. This is a reality. And that's why I've joined the Biden-Harris campaign, because the only way to preserve our freedoms
he's joined the Biden-Harris campaign. Yes.
Is to
Congratulations.
vote for Joe Biden for president. Really. We don't have a choice. On January 6th, while Republican lawmakers despicably tried to keep the loser Trump,
So anyway, that's an example of it. And apparently the New Yorkers that were there weren't really having it, and he wasn't all that welcome. So here's another clip from when
The Democrats, you are gangsters. You are gangsters. You're washed up. Fuck you.
You're a little punk. You're a softie. You're a nobody. Your movies suck. You're trash. You're trash. You're done.
No, I wouldn't say his movies suck. And the last guy here is who cracks me up though. Are they going to show him? Oh, where's the dude that calls him a... Here, this guy. Oh, this is the guy right here. This is what I think. This might be Black Hebrew Israelite might be talking about. This guy called. I don't even know what a mook is. Can someone define mook for me? Here it is.
You're a fucking mook. M-O-O-K. Mook. You're a traitor to Italian and Jews. You're a traitor to Italian Jews. You fucking cunt. You ain't cunt. Bobby De Niro, you're a fucking cunt. Fuck you fucking piece of shit.
So anyway, this guy is, he's not holding back either. So anyway, I just, you know how it goes. I don't even know what to say about that other than, his little speech didn't go over well with the Trump supporters around the thing. It means a schmuck. Okay, it's just a general put down. Okay, it's nothing like disagreeable or uncommon. Thank you for all the definitions here. That's good. Mook, M-O-O-K, mook, a fool in Italian culture. Okay, there you go. Thank you. I learned so much doing this show. Now I know what a mook is. All right. Now, as you know, if sometimes people drop Hamiltons in the tip jar so they can hijack the show. And that has happened here. Thank you, GunFox61, first sponsor of the show today. And that makes you
are
the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Dropping a Hamilton in the tip jar. And dropped an article from The Guardian. What fresh hell is this? Oh, no. Wait, what? Wait. Okay. This is an article from The Guardian. Thank you, Gunfox, by the way. I appreciate you. And you got the alert. This alert came up for this one. Is this the one? Oh, no, that's the wrong one. Well, that's okay. Anyway, that's from the Hamilton that Gunfox dropped with a little Nicki Minaj dance there. So anyway, here's what Gunfox jumped to the show. He's hijacking the show with this article. Orange juice makers consider using other fruits as prices go bananas. Wait, I already did that. That's the same one. So orange juice makers consider using other fruits after prices go bananas. Go bananas. Global industry in crisis as fears about Brazilian harvest help push wholesale prices to record highs. Now, I haven't bought much orange juice lately, so I don't know. But it's orange juice makers are considering turning to alternative fruits such as mandarins as wholesale prices have gone bananas amid fears of poor harvest in Brazil. The price of orange juice reached a new high of $4.99 a pound on commodity markets this week after growers in the main orange juice producing areas of Brazil said they were expecting the harvest to be 24% down on last year at 232 million 40 kilogram boxes, worse than the 15% fall previously predicted. Orange trees in Brazil have been suffering from citrus greening, an incurable disease, after extreme heat stress and drought during their key flowering period in the latter part of last year, fueled by the climate crisis. This is a global warming story for you. The predicted poor crop in Brazil, which accounts for 70% of all orange juice exports, marks the third difficult global harvest in a row, as well as problems in Brazil. Florida in the U.S. has been hit by a series of hurricanes and the greening disease, which is spread by sap-sucking insects and turns the fruit bitter before killing the tree. A series of poor harvests has limited manufacturers' ability to ride out the current difficulties by mixing the new crop with frozen juice, which normally has a 2-year lifespan. So this is like, I feel like I'm reading a story on Trading Places. You know, remember, the movies Trading Places, Eddie Murphy, and Dan Aykroyd, where they trade, well, they literally trade places, one being kind of a bum and then the other being a wealthy commodities trader who tried to corner the market on frozen orange juice. Remember that show? Anyone remember that movie? Okay. So anyway, drink coffee like a man. Yeah, that's true. Orange juice is vodka's best friend besides cranberry. Well, I don't know about that. OJ is high in sugar. Is high blood sugar in a can. Well, it can be. Switch to Tangelos. Okay, we got a lot of people, orange juice fans here. The bananas identifies orange. Well, they didn't say they're gonna substitute them with bananas. But anyway, apparently maybe the mandarin oranges aren't having the same greening problem. Okay, let's see here. This series of poor harvests has limited manufacturers' ability to ride out the current difficulties by mixing the new crop with frozen oranges, which normally has 2-year lifespans. This is a crisis. Key Cools, the president of the International Fruit and Vegetable Juice Association, told the Financial Times, "Oh my God, there is an International Fruit and Vegetable Juice Association? Do the makers of V8 know this? I don't know. We've never seen anything like it, even during the big freezes and big hurricanes." The IFU, that's the International Fruit and Vegetable Juice Association. IFU, that's their acronym. Ha! That's hilarious. IFU. I better not say that too loud. My wife might hear me. Anyway, it's considering lobbying for a rewrite of United Nations level food regulations so that orange juice can contain other citrus fruits, as well as pursuing rule changes at the country level. So first of all, I didn't know that the United Nations regulates orange juice. That's a new one on me too. This is a very informative article, Gunfox. Where did you come up with this? Francois Sonneville, a senior beverage analyst at Rabobank, said consumer demand for orange juice was down by a fifth compared with last year as the price has gone bananas. How many times are they going to use this frickin' gone bananas? I don't know. What phrase? I'll just call it a phrase. Why do they keep using it? This is the third or fourth time in this article "gone bananas" has come up. Well, so consumer demand for orange juice is down. So maybe the price is stabilized because the consumer demand is down, or just they're not buying it because it's so expensive. Orange juice is really expensive right now. I laugh because I go to in Minnesota, we have Cub Foods, which is a subsidiary of Safeway, or is it Safeway? Something like that. And I've noticed when you go to buy orange juice, and I really like the Simply brand, Simply orange juice, it's just basically squeezed orange juice. And I've noticed that it's funny because the grocery store will raise the price of something and then they will put it on sale for 50 cents less than maybe that raised price, but it'll still be more than the old price. And you start noticing that they say something's on sale and it's like, well, that's more than I paid for it 6 months ago. So how is it on sale if I'm paying more? But anyway, Bad Commuter says they're telling you they're planning to funk us with the UNIFU. That's right.
That's right.
Okay. Yeah, pretty much they are. So anyway, so I guess I'm not going to be drinking as many screwdrivers, and I'll just stick to Bloody Marys then. So orange juice has been trashed since 2020. Yeah, it's just been so damn expensive, and the only orange juice I can drink is that Simply Orange. I can't even drink the Tropicana Pure Premium anymore because it's just not as good as it used to be. So I don't know, so they might have to mix in some other fruits. And thank you, Gunfox, for that great article from The Guardian. All right, let's go back to the show where we are. Where was I? We did, so we did De Niro. Mother Teresa is also trending because, let's just say that people on the left are upset with Donald Trump because he referenced Mother Teresa. And so here it is. Here's Donald Trump. He's talking about gosh, this is 4 minutes long. Well, let me just do the Mother Teresa part here because everyone's talking about Mother Teresa because Donald Trump referenced Mother Teresa. And some people who don't like Donald Trump are upset that he referenced Mother Teresa. So here's Donald Trump talking about the trial, and we'll get to that in a second here.
And I mean that Mother Teresa could not beat those charges, but we'll see. We'll see how we do.
You think of yourself more holy than Mother Teresa?
Oh my God. Did he... Did you hear the question she asked as he walked away? Because he said something about Mother Teresa could not beat these charges the way they've set this up. And the reporter says, are you saying that you're more holy than Mother Teresa? I don't think so. It's just a little bit of an analogy. And so this person, Bill Madden, who's very upset with Donald Trump for mentioning Mother Teresa, says, I must have missed the part where Mother Teresa was banging 2 porn industry dudes and then engaged in hush money payments to keep the Pope from finding out. Oh, yeah, you're a clown. Whatever. Anyway, Donald Trump invoked Mother Teresa. Said Mother Teresa could not beat the charges he is facing in New York. Slams the judge for working as an asset for the Democratic Party. The judge is so conflicted he can't breathe. The judge contributed to Joe Biden, and far worse than that, but I'm not allowed to talk about it because I have a gag order. Far worse than that, by 1,000 times worse than that. The worst I've ever heard, but I can't talk about it. It'll be talked about in the history books. What's happening here is a weaponization at a level nobody has seen before, ever, and it should not be allowed to happen, which he's talking about the process in this Manhattan trial. Again, we'll talk more about that. That's just one of the trending topics. Moving on. Also, Jill Biden, not Joe, but Jill Biden is trending because Jill Biden said something interesting on The View. Wait a minute. Oh my God, what is that? That looks like Alice Cooper. That's not Jill Biden. Someone did a face swap on Jill Biden, made her look like Alice Cooper. That's not it. Where is it? She said something about Donald Trump here. I lost it. Oh, by the way, here's a couple. We'll just kind of give you a couple clips. I hate The View, so I really don't want to see this shit. But because I am dedicated to my craft, I'm going to make you watch it. Here's Sonny saying something.
What message does the president have to give to make people get it that we are in a better place now?
Well, we are in a better place now, and what you're saying is true, and we have to get out that message. Every vote counts. This election is important, and so we are going everywhere.
I guess she just looks like Alice Cooper. They didn't make her look like Alice Cooper. Never mind.
We're meeting people where they are. We're meeting them in person. We're meeting them over the TV. We're meeting them in social media. We're not taking anything for granted because Joe has done amazing things for this country, and we have to get the message out.
Really? Has he now? Has he done amazing things for the country? I mean, I know he's bribing people with like the student loan thing right now. He's really excited about doing that. Where's the... Oh, here's the clip that I laughed about, though, because she's talking about how Joe Biden can't put a sentence together. Here's the one I wanted to show you. Oops. Or not Joe Biden. She says Donald Trump can't put a sentence together. Here it is.
Yeah, well, I happen to believe it's really important, more than ever, to have a debate with guardrails. What is the strategy that the president has going into this? Any tips you'd have for a debate that we could pull off where we could actually hear our candidates?
No, they built that in where they're going to turn off those mics so that somebody can't ramble or scream at somebody. Not that my husband would be the one doing that.
Oh, really?
And so
have you watched it? Wait a minute. Wait. Has she watched any of her husband's speeches lately? Where he looks like the puppet from the guy, the ventriloquist puppet guy? Is it Walter? He looks like Walter, the puppet. You know who I'm talking about. Has she watched any of his speeches lately? He looks like an angry old man barking at the moon. Anyway, let us finish. I'm going to let you finish.
Not that my husband would be the one doing that.
Yes, he would.
And so that's already been negotiated. And, I think the American people deserve a debate.
Wait for it.
Because you need to see your choices. You need to see Trump, and you need to see the president. And you need to see the differences. And my husband's, and you're going to see how smart he is and the experience he has. And then you'll see somebody who, like you're saying, I'm going to use Joy's words, can't put a sentence together, and everything is beautiful, and it's wonderful.
Tremendous.
Big league. Tremendous. Yeah. So I think the American people deserve to see the two men.
Stop. Did she just say he can't put a sentence together? I'm beginning to wonder if Jill Biden, Jill Biden, the husband, right? Or Jill Biden, has Jill Biden ever met Joe Biden? In the recent years, this guy, has she met this guy?
That Netanyahu should go.
The guy who needs help off the balcony here. Let's go. Don't answer questions. That guy, has she met him? Because remember that guy? Joe Biden. What is it? one word that describes America. That guy. Let me see if I can find. Let's see if they got anyone put any clips of Joe Biden making sentences. Here's one. Wait, where'd it go? Here's a Joe Biden guy who could put a sentence together. Here it is. Here's one of his sentences he's put together.
The promise we'd start to reconnect black and brown and overlooked neighborhoods cut off by highways in the 60s, and decades of disinvestment as a consequence of it, including here in Philly. Well, we're changed that with the Recovery Act right now. You see all the construction going on the highways around here.
Okay, so he kind of put a sentence together there, didn't he? I mean, he did. By the way, he recently had a rally in Philly that didn't have a whole lot of people there at some school, but they had all the kids standing behind him with signs and stuff. That was that from that one. All right, I'm gonna go click through these. So I got to get to the main topic. So, a lot of people talking about the trial. Shannon Bream apparently is trending because of something that she said to Alina Habba on Fox News, and Alina Habba apparently set her straight. So we'll just watch the clip. We're just gonna watch movie clips today. Let's just do that.
Listen, but the Biden administration's not responsible for this trial. How can you say the Biden administration's not responsible for this trial? It's a state trial. It's Alvin Bragg. Whether you think there's a political motive for him, it's not connected to the DOJ. I mean, Shannon, the feds passed on these election charges. Shannon, you should look at how many logs they have of state officials, Letitia James, Fannie Willis, visiting the White House, and then tell me that this is not a Biden trial. I don't care. Feds pass on this case is the point I'm making. Right. The feds pass on this case. Also, DA Cy Vance passed on this case, and years ago, and then it came back. And Bragg passed on this case. You know when it came back? When he decided to run for office. So tell me how that's not an indication that Joe Biden, who just sent his campaign down here with Robert De Niro yesterday, isn't a part of this. Frankly, any question that we had of that was squashed yesterday. And if you have even more concerns about whether he's involved in this, look at the fact that he is publicizing, literally publicizing, for tonight to have a speech if a verdict comes out. That's a sad state of affairs. Meanwhile, our country is falling apart. He's got... Listen.
So anyway, they're hoping for a verdict. We'll see what happens there. Real quick. Thank you, Avocados Diabli, bringing on a sentence from Joe Biden. True international precious. Clap is not a sentence, Jill. That was 80 talking. Oh, this is a message for Jill Biden, not for me. And that's what Avocados Diabli is saying, dropping a small bullet in the tip jar. Thank you, by the way, sir, for sponsoring the show. True international depressing minimum for polygraph is not a sentence, Jill. That's what he was trying to get, the message he was conveying to Jill Biden. And I absolutely support that message. Thank you, Avocados Diabli, for sponsoring the show. All right. Anyway, that was why Joe Biden was trending. That's why Shannon Bream was trending, because Alina Habba. And Donald Trump also mentioned Shannon Bream in a Truth Social post where he says, "I never knew Shannon Bream was so naive." In her interview with my representative, Alina Habba, Shannon just suggested that crooked Joe Biden was not involved in my show trial. How stupid! Not only is he involved, he is virtually leading it and all of the other trials as well, meaning his people, because he's not mentally sharp enough to lead anything. Just take a look at the DOJ White House thugs involved and everyone else. Biden is incompetent, and it feels that weaponization is the only way he can win. He's counting on Shannon Breams of the world to get him there. Bad day for Shannon. So he ripped Shannon a new one for that one. And, you know, Michael Colangelo, one of the lead attorneys on this case in Manhattan, remember, he literally left the Justice Department specifically to go into the Manhattan DA office and to become lead counsel. So he literally came from the current Justice Department to that department to be the prosecuting attorney on Trump's case. So the idea that, well, No, there's nothing here that Joe Biden or his administration or anybody has anything to do with these state trials. My God, we only sent one of our prosecutors to leave the DOJ to be there and prosecute Trump. So that's crazy. Real quick, thank you, Zed the Snarky, dropping a big bullet in the tip jar, who says, now he's channeling Jill Biden. He's my quote, "My husband is really smart, guys," end quote, she says as her husband wanders into the rose bushes again. Yes, exactly. That's very good. That's exactly how it works. All right. Also trending, Marco Rubio's trending because he had something to say about the Trump trial. Again, we're gonna let's see. Marco Rubio was mentioning this. So yesterday started deliberations in that Manhattan trial because the defense arrest, the prosecution arrest. Then we got the instructions, which we'll touch on a little bit here if you haven't already heard about it. But Marco Rubio says just 1 hour into deliberations at the sham Trump trial, we already have mass confusion, multiple questions from the jury, and requests to have 55 pages of confusing and unfair jury instructions reread tomorrow by the Biden supporters serving as the judge because there was no crime. Yeah, what's weird about this? So a couple weird things about this trial, the judge's instructions. One, unlike most trials, so I've watched a lot of trials on the internet and whatever, and whenever there's a criminal trial, usually the closing arguments made by the defense, right? And then there's a rebuttal by the prosecution. And then the defense is also able to rebut things the prosecution says because, you know, they get a fair chance to do it. And then maybe the prosecution can sum up after that. Well, in this case, the judge decided that, nope, they're not going to do it that way. They're going to have the defense give their closing arguments and then let the prosecution give their closing arguments. So the defense went about 2.5 hours. The prosecution went about 5 hours. And so, you know, the defense never got a chance to rebut anything. Also, in the closing arguments, they weren't allowed to bring up anything about the law. Meaning they couldn't give any interpretations of the law. The judge said, nope, I will be the only one who gives any interpretations of any laws. Okay. So that was weird. And then also, when they gave the jury instructions, he had 23 pages of jury instructions, about an hour and 15 minutes of jury instructions that he gave to the jury verbally before they went to go deliberate, but he would not allow the jury to have a copy of the jury instructions. By the way, and Mark Rubio has been tweeting a lot about it because he's been there. A lot of the people who might be possible vice presidential candidates have been talking about this. So a lot of them are trending because they keep talking about shit. Anyway, and then the most curious of the jury instructions, the most curious of the jury instructions. So remember, in this trial, the New York law that he's being tried for is falsification of business records, which is normally a misdemeanor. Okay. And the statute of limitations would have run out on this in 2019 if it was just a misdemeanor. However, the way Alvin Bragg revived this is if this falsification of business records was intentionally done to be in coordination or to commit another crime, then it could be bumped up to a felony. Okay. So initially, Bragg and company made this this underlying crime a federal election violation, but Donald Trump was never tried for any federal election violation. They didn't bring up the federal election violation, the law that he was supposedly going to be breaking by doing this state business records violation. It never got brought up in trial. They never talked about it. They never said what the underlying crime was, other than he was trying to illegally influence an election without ever talking about that law. Also noting that Donald Trump has never been, He was never charged with that by the Federal Election Commission or anyone at any federal court. So there, in reality, there is no federal election violation. Okay, but oh boy, let me find if I have this here. So anyway, so in the jury instructions, the judge says, "Well, here's the thing. There are 3 or 4 possible things that could be this underlying crime, right? That the business record falsification could be one of any. The closing arguments by the prosecution said it could be any 4 of these crimes. So the judge says in the jury instructions, well, the thing that Donald Trump's being charged with is the business falsification. But if the juries are not in agreement on which of the underlying crimes apply to make this state crime a felony, you don't have to agree on them. You can agree that are different. There could be any of those different things. Now, remember, during the trial, which you may not have followed closely, they never talked about any of these crimes. They never told the defense which one they were defending themselves against. So the defense never could even defend themselves against some mythical underlying crime. But the judge says, well, you don't have to agree on what the underlying crime is. In fact, if 4 jurors think it's the election violations, 4 jurors think it could be a tax violation, and 4 jurors think it could be something else, I'm still gonna count the state crime of business record, falsification as a unanimous verdict. Problem is, and I'm sure he may know this by now. There's a case that the Supreme Court has already adjudicated, and the opinion written by none other than liberal Justice Stephen Breyer, called Richardson v. United States, says this. Here, let me fit it in the screen. Well, there we go. Let's fit this. How I can there? No, what is that? Why? There we go. In Richardson v. United States, a decision by Stephen Breyer says a jury must be unanimous as to the series of underlying offenses in a CCE prosecution. That is, the jury must unanimously agree not only that the defendant committed some continuous series of violations, but also about which specific violations make up that continuing series. So this has already been to the Supreme Court in 1999. Judge Merchant doesn't care. It almost seems like his purpose in this trial is to get a guilty verdict. And everything he's done during this trial has been in favor of the prosecution for the most part. I mean, there's been some objections he's sustained by the defense, which they were very rare, few and far between. But he pretty much sustained almost every objection that the prosecution came up with. And so now he has jury instructions. And if you go through the entire jury instructions, they're completely almost written as though if you read them between the lines, the only verdict you can come up with is guilty, except he left one thing in the jury instructions that the defense wanted that may be what's hanging up this jury right now. Now granted, there's a lot of things to go through, but he did say, if you believe that a defendant has lied in their testimony here, you can choose to disregard their entire testimony, or you can choose to disregard parts of it or whatever. But the fact that they can, if they think someone lied, they can disregard their entire testimony. Well, that absolutely sinks the testimony of the only witness who has claimed that Donald Trump knew about the falsification of the records, and that would be Michael Cohen. The star witness, Michael Cohen, the convicted felon, the convicted perjurer, the guy who's admitted to lying in this trial itself. He lied, and they've caught him in lies. So I'm thinking that there is at least one juror on that jury panel that, now what happened as they started deliberating yesterday, they asked for the instructions again, which they're reading again this morning. And I'm pretty sure that there's probably a juror on there that's saying, you know what? We know Michael Cohen lied to us during this trial, and I'm disregarding his entire testimony. They haven't proved beyond a reasonable doubt. Maybe that's it. Or maybe they wanted to find ways to make Donald Trump guilty. Who knows why they asked for it. So anyway, so jury's trending also. Now it's interesting because some of the reactions on this, here's an NBC legal correspondent talking about the jury yesterday. Here we go. Because even the analysts at NBC are dumbfounded. Wait, better than these losers that you are watching? Who is the? I'm gonna find out who this is. Thank you, Heffagus766, whoever the fuck you are. Fuck you. Here we go.
I got it. These are the instructions that the jury has to follow in Donald Trump's hush money trial before they can reach a verdict. 53 pages. This is complicated. This is lengthy stuff. It took the judge over an hour to read it, but guess what? The jury doesn't get this in the room during deliberations. They have to write questions, they can write notes, but they don't get these instructions. In New York, both parties have to agree and the judge has to agree. And in this case, it didn't happen. They don't have this in the room right now.
So, now she seems a little bit incredulous there. Now I'm curious. Someone put something in my chat over on Rumble. Saying, let me see what this is. I'm going to open this just for shits and giggles. Let's see, who did they suggest you watch? Who is this? Some punk ass kid. Turn that shit off. Who the fuck is this guy? Don't know. Don't care. All right, no one important. So anyway, so let's get into some of the reactions. First of all, Judge Merchan seems to be fairly corrupt here, as far as I'm concerned. And we're going to go through a couple articles here before we go. And there's some extra articles that have nothing to do with this that you can check out yourself. But here we go. So this is in American Thinker. Justice Merchan gets even sleazier. How does she have a copy then? Because, here's the other part too. So this is hilarious because the judge every night, they're not sequestering this jury either. And they're saying Donald Trump must be in the courtroom while the jury is deliberating. So again, this is interference. He can't be outside campaigning or whatever. But the reason she has them is because they're posted on the New York judicial system's website. The jury can't see them, but everyone else in the public can see them. So that's how she has a copy of them. So anyway, New York Justice Dawg Merchan, who is presiding over New York prosecutor Alvin Bragg's trial of President Trump over a bookkeeping issue, is getting sleazier now that Bragg's case is starting to fall apart, giving the Red Queen of the Alice in Wonderland story a run for her money. At issue now are his instructions to the 12-person jury as it goes into deliberations, telling them that they don't need to agree on what the supposed underlying crime of Donald Trump was that would make his hush money payment to the porn star Stormy Daniels a felony, which is legal basis for turning the bookkeeping issue into a 34-count felony. They just need to think that Trump was thinking about committing a crime when he signed off on the check. And what that crime was can be anybody's guess. Now, does that sound like anything that's a reasonable doubt to you? It just screams reasonable doubt that they don't have to be unanimous on what the underlying crime would be. But no matter, sentence first verdict later. And he started out this doozy of bad behavior, going all Eddie Haskell on the jury to begin with, as if in a bid to butter them up to do things in his biased way. Now, normally juries are praised after they render their verdicts by the judges, but Merchan is special. Now, here it is. Breaking. Merchan buttering up the jurors now, complimenting jury number 3 specifically for his or her note-taking abilities, saying they were also very attentive throughout the entirety of the trial and always showed up in court on time, ready to listen. Oh, isn't that special? Merchan instructed them to come up with any underlying crime they liked and to be helpful, or offered them a 3-course smorgasbord of possibilities, though I am not sure he wouldn't be bothered if one of them got creative and came up with a different one of their own. According to legal analyst Andrew McCarthy, this is problematic. Quote, outrageous. In a normal criminal case, every statutory crime has what we call elements of the offense. Like in a bank robbery case, you have to rob, it has to be a financial institution, you have to show intent, said former prosecutor Andrew McCarthy. Those are the things the jury has to agree on unanimously, that they were proved beyond a reasonable doubt. Here what we're doing is taking the element that actually makes this a felony, because remember, falsifications of records is normally a misdemeanor in New York. What makes it a felony is that you are concealing or committing another crime. And here the judge is telling them they don't have to agree about what the other crime is under the circumstances, where that not only is what's make this a felony, it makes it a 4-year potential prison penalty rather than a year or less, but it is also what gets us into the courtroom. If this had been a misdemeanor, the time to bring the case would have lapsed in 2019. The only reason they are still able to bring this case is because it's a felony, allegedly, and yet now the judge is saying, you don't have to agree on what the felony is. Now, Trump, of course, was never told which of the underlying crimes he supposedly committed in the courtroom, so he was not able to defend himself from them, which, according to some legal observers, violates the Equal Protection Clause. His instructions actually, the judge, Merchan, were actually illegal based on a recent Supreme Court case in which the opinion written by left-leaning Justice Stephen Breyer that right-leaning Justice Antonin Scalia and Clarence Thomas concurred with regarding the critical need for unanimity regarding an underlying crime. And we just read that link there. Yet he seemed to know that he gave illegal instructions because he insisted that no written instructions be given to the jury. That way, his hands would be clean when the jury attempted to explain its logic, and the judicial regulators started looking askance at his jug heap grasp of the law. Who? Me? Give bad instructions? Oh, they must have been wrong. Well, it's in the damn transcripts. They'll know. Now, not surprisingly, the jury found this confusing. They sent a note asking him to repeat those instructions, and I think he was a little upset about that. And even CNN, this is CNN, an analyst found it a bit skeevy. Here's the clip they're talking about here. Let's see if it plays.
The jury must be overwhelmed. I mean, to have all of these instructions just read to them without them getting a copy is going to be overwhelming for them. And also, it's crazy that the lawyers were not able to discuss the instructions in their closings yesterday. Typically, lawyers can go through the instructions and explain why they've met them or why the government hasn't met them, and they weren't able to do that yesterday, which I find bizarre. I think the lawyers should have been able to do that, because the jurors right now must be wondering, what is this all about?
Yeah. They don't know. They get to make it up as they go along. Now, maybe the judge is hoping that they'll all make something up, and he'll get they don't have to agree on what it is. They just have to know that Donald Trump is really, really bad. And he must have been trying to commit a crime when he falsified the business records for the hush money. Anyway, so they were at the time of this writing, had been at it for 4 hours. I hope they ask him to repeat those instructions every hour on the hour and hoist him up on his own petard. There are other irregularities that inexorably make this case look like they are trying to rig it, such as why this guy gets picked at all to be a judge here. So here's something else that's odd about Judge Merchan. Now, there's all these judges in the New York Superior Court system, like 24 of them that are listed, right? And Merchan's an unlisted judge, apparently. But somehow, out of miracle of miracles, the random draw of what cases certain judges get, right? Usually it's just a random draw. It doesn't matter. Miraculously, Judge Merchan, this is his third case involving Donald Trump in a year. He is Westerberg, I think. Well, here, let's let Alina Habas explain it.
And then you have Judge Merchan, who should have recused himself. Judge Merchan, who I want the American people to remember very astutely, has somehow randomly selected, had Steve Bannon's case, had Alan Weisselberg's case, and now put Alan Weisselberg back in jail. Okay, this is what we're dealing with. Somehow he randomly also gets Donald Trump. That's not the way the system works. You assign a case randomly. That's the way it's supposed to work. But in the new America, under the Biden regime, we are sitting here in a politicization of all our judicial systems. He is intentionally obstructing the defense's case. There is no point in us even putting on a defense when you have a judge who is sitting there telling the jury, don't listen to them. I'm going to scream. I'm going to even tell the press that they can't sit in there. And God knows the press is tough on me, but I had their back in this one. They had no business kicking them out. And that judge is so crooked that he couldn't stand that there was bad evidence being brought in by this attorney who happened to work for the SDNY, let's not forget, who has a great, stellar reputation, as you mentioned. But the judge lost his cool. He lost his cool on Monday, and he lost his cool again today. So it's time to wrap this case up, throw it out. If this judge wants any credibility back, that's what he should do.
Okay, now clearly he's not throwing the case out. Also, Representative Elise Stefanik of New York also filed an official misconduct complaint with here, I'll bring this up here. It'd be easy to read it here. Again, this is another one of the potential vice president people. So she wrote, let me center it for you. Gosh, I can't even see that. There we go. She says, I just filed an official misconduct complaint with the New York State Unified Court System related to the random assignment of acting Manhattan Justice Juan Merchan, a Biden donor whose daughter is fundraising millions off his unprecedented work, to criminal cases against President Donald Trump, his companies, and his allies. And so her complaint here is, members of the commission and Madam Inspector General, I'm writing to alert you to potential misconduct by justices and the employees of the Supreme Court criminal term New York County. And now in New York, the Supreme Court is the lower court, and then they have their appeals court. The potential misconduct pertains to the repeated assignment of acting Justice Juan Merchan, a Democrat Party donor, to criminal cases related to President Donald J. Trump and his allies. Acting Justice Merchan currently presides over the criminal case against President Trump brought by Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg. Acting Justice Merchan also presided over the criminal trial against the Trump Organization and will be presiding over the criminal trial of Steve Bannon, a senior advisor in the President Trump's White House and a prominent advocate for President Trump. The website for the Supreme Court criminal term New York County does not provide a comprehensive list of every justice and acting justice sitting in the courthouse, but on the courtroom directory, there are at least 24 sitting justices on the court. Acting Justice Merchan is not even listed among them, one assumes because of his status as an acting justice. Section 200.11 of the Uniform Rules for New York State trial courts require that criminal actions be assigned to a judge pursuant to a method of random selection authorized by the chief administrator. If justices were indeed being randomly assigned in the criminal term, the probability of two specific criminal cases be assigned to the same justice is quite low, and the probability of three specific criminal cases being assigned to have the same justice is infinitesimally small. And yet we see acting Justice Merchan on all three cases. This is the same acting Justice Merchan who, in violation of New York State Code of Judicial Conduct 100.5, donated to President Biden's 2020 campaign, along with the Progressive Turnout Project and its Stop Republican subsidiary. It's also the same acting justice whose daughter is a political consultant working for prominent Democrats, whose firm stands to profit greatly if Donald Trump is convicted. One cannot but help expect that the random selection, quote unquote, at work in the assignment of acting Justice Merchan, a Democrat Party donor to these cases involving prominent Republicans, is in fact not random at all. The simple answer is why acting Justice Merchan has been assigned to these cases would seem to be that whoever made the assignment intentionally selected acting Justice Merchan to handle them to increase the chance that Donald Trump, the Trump Organization, and Stephen Bannon would ultimately be convicted. I request that both the Commission and the Inspector General investigate this anomaly to determine whether the required random selection process was in fact followed in the assignment of these criminal cases to acting Justice Merchan. If acting Justice Merchan or any other justices of the court are found to have violated these rules, I would hope that the Commission would subject them to the required discipline. And if any non-judicial employees of the court are involved in such a scheme, I would hope that the Inspector General subject them to the appropriate sanction. Sincerely, Elise Stefanik. So she's a congresswoman right now, and is she the RNC? No, that's not. It's not her. Anyway, so she is on the case. So, and all of this comes on top of Merchan's other bad acts, such as his gag orders, which are normally issued to protect defendants, not prosecutors. Oh, sorry, I did put that back on the page there. What the hell happened there? Why is that way over there? Oh, there we go. Also, his refusal to allow President Trump to use advice of counsel defense after he was badly advised by former fixer Michael Cohen, the suppression of President Trump's most important witnesses, such as former FEC Chief Brian Smith, from testifying that they never prosecuted for these kinds of claimed crimes, which they've got examples all here. And then apparently, under the new democracy governance that replaced the constitutional republic rule of law, if you're an attorney arguing your case, you can't mention the law that proves your client's innocent. Yeah, because he told the jurors nothing that Merchan tells the jurors that nothing the lawyers said is evidence and nothing said during the summations is evidence. Merchan says you and you alone are the judges, the facts of this case. I am responsible for explaining the law, not the lawyers. Because he explains the law in a way that makes it almost impossible not to convict Trump. Now he's sending the jury home, apparently after concluding that they aren't going to convict him the way he would like. That way he can buy some time to figure out a new way of working them over. And this is someone, Bo London, basically said, outraged Merchan just sent the jury home after giving the impression they won't convict Trump. Even though a unanimous decision is not needed, Judge Merchan appeared outraged by the jury notes given to him. Team Trump was seen laughing and smiling, and they decided to try to make that go viral. So I have time for a couple more here. Let's keep going. So we already did the Elise Stefanik complaint, so I'm not going to go through that one again. We also have, now, a trial expert at This Is CNN warns a major flag during deliberations that could make it problematic for a jury to convict Trump. Uh-oh. What? that's okay, that's already fitting on there. Fine, let's do this. Trial consultant Molly Murphy on Wednesday warned that potential questions from the jury could pose problems for the Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg's effort to secure a conviction of former President Donald Trump. Prosecutors Joshua Steinglass spent time during a lengthy closing arguments Tuesday arguing the unproven claim that Trump violated federal campaign finance law by seeking to suppress unfavorable stories in the lead up to the 2016 election. Murphy on CNN News Central said, if the jury has evidentiary questions during deliberations, that could be an indication that the panel may not have a grasp on Bragg's case. So how long is this? We might just watch the whole thing. I don't care how long it is. Yeah, let's go through this whole segment because I want to see how they're talking about.
Now, CNN legal analyst Jennifer Rogers and Molly Murphy trial consultant and mediator. Jen, let me just start with you. The jury instructions. Bryn points out,
let me see if I
we don't know.
Let's see if I can make this full screen now. Let's make this bigger. There we go. Hang on. All right, here we go. Let's watch this.
What they are exactly yet. We heard the discussions
they don't
about
know.
them, but we haven't
they
heard
don't
exactly
know.
what the judge will say. Both legal teams know, and they crafted their closing arguments around those jury instructions. But what will you be looking for today when the jury hears those instructions for the first time?
I think, John, the biggest thing to me is how is the judge going to describe to them the law around the enhancement issue, right? So the financial record.
We already know how he did. He said you don't have to be unanimous on what the enhancement underlying crime is.
Its crime is fairly simple, falsification of financial records. But then, of course, we have this enhancement where if in the course of that you were concealing or committing a second crime, it becomes a felony. So how is the judge going to describe that? And then how is he going to describe the third piece, which is what crime was it that was being concealed or committed? Because that's where we get into the federal election.
Stop. Wait, hold on. Episcopos, I always say, but Episcopos, is that the right way to say it? Episcopos? Because I heard, who is it? Robert, what's his name? Robert G., the guy, the lawyer, Gouveia. I heard, were you watching Robert Gouveia yesterday? And you must have put a super chat or something. And I heard him say Episcopos. And I'm like, is that Episcopos? Did I always say it wrong? So I've been saying that wrong the whole time, haven't I? Anyway, just curious.
Election law, for example. So that's the main thing I'm focusing on. We don't know what that's going to look like, and it's kind of confusing. So he's going to want to do it in a way that the jury can understand.
Kind of confusing. It was
and just to follow up
crazy confusing
on that quickly, Jennifer.
And the fact that he refuses to give them the written down jury instructions, so they can't reference the jury instructions as they go. It's because Joe Episcopos from SNL. Episcopo? That's not how you, like Joe Episcopo? Oh, is that what it is? Is that how he spells it? Anyway, isn't that weird though that he wouldn't let them have the jury instructions, because then they could read that thing about if you think any witness is lying, you can disregard their entire testimony. Well, we already know Michael Cohen lied. Oh, Stormy Daniels lied on stage too, or on in her testimony too, and they confronted her with it in the trial. So we know they both lied. Anyway.
It matters so much because the language used to describe the charges.
No, ladies, she's shining, and the other one has a light on her face, like The Shining.
And what the jury will be deciding, it is novel, and it could influence how they end up deliberating, correct?
Well, it certainly does. I mean, the instructions are the framework for how they deliberate.
Okay, Episcopos. Okay, now I'm going to say it right for the rest of my life.
Ultimately, there's a verdict form, says guilty or not guilty, but it's going to go into a little bit more detail because it's going to have to ask them whether they find that the business records were falsified, and then again, whether they find this enhancement. There was another crime.
Or whether Donald Trump had anything to do with the records being falsified, too. That's the other part. Nobody in the witnesses, other than Michael Cohen, said that Donald Trump had something to do with them being falsified. And in fact, the controller and the other people that they had on the witness stand, they said they just accounted it as the way the invoices came in. So the only one that really may have falsified a business record is Michael Cohen. He's the one who falsified the business record.
Concealed or committed there, and so they have to think about it in that way, and if they don't understand what crime is being discussed, then they're not going to be able to deliberate properly, and they'll have appeal problems. So it's really, really important, and it's interesting that at this point we don't know what it will be, but I guess we'll find out in the next hour.
They didn't make their case.
And then, Molly, at about 11 o'clock, the jury walks behind the door and enters what is in a way, a twilight zone, but also in another way, the very foundation of our legal system. The jury will deliberate, and what happens behind those doors, which ways can it go? What do juries often do in situations like this?
Well, they've waited, 6 weeks now, 7 weeks.
And still don't know what the crimes are.
Trying to figure out what the evidence is and make a decision. So I think there's, for the most part, the jurors are ready. And they're walking in the courtroom to figure out truly what evidence was pertinent, what evidence was weighed well enough to support the elements of the charges. And as Ms. Rogers just stated, that these are new instructions for the jury, and the key is, will they be able to really understand the instructions? What we typically do is we will talk about specific instructions and we'll explain what the instructions mean.
Oh my gosh,
he
talks so fucking
because
slow.
Often they're written more in the legalese. So often jurors are talking amongst themselves of what does this actually mean. So their job is to take those.
But they have 2 lawyers on the jury. Maybe that'll help. I'm thinking one of the lawyers on the jury might be, if there's somebody holding out, like let's say the whole jury pool wants to vote guilty, and one of the person holding out has to be one of the lawyers going, this is the most ridiculous shit I've ever seen. It's got to be.
Those instructions and tie them into the evidence itself and figure out if the burden has been met.
Beyond a reasonable
it's a big
doubt.
Task, and I think they're ready for it.
Beyond a reasonable doubt. Oh my God, there's so much reasonable doubt in this
jury
case.
questions, what possible questions will you be looking for, Molly, to instruct us as to how they're thinking? What question would be sort of a red flag?
Well, I think if they aren't sure what the beyond a reasonable doubt is, would be a major flag.
Well,
because the way, I have to say, the closing arguments were just so long, and my bet very contrived. So I think there's going to be some confusion of really what is the evidence, what was the real evidence versus what were the arguments. So if they come in and they want to know, I would say the documents themselves, if they're not clear of who said what, and I think Cohen did a very good job in the sense that he lied because he was told to lie. And if the jury really understands that, then I think that's going to be a big discussion. I think they're going to talk a lot about what Cohen said.
Oh, no.
So if a note comes out.
No, he lied because he's a fucking lying guy. He lies to save his own ass. He clearly lies to save his own ass. And sometimes it works, and sometimes he still goes to prison.
On really the pertinent evidence itself, that's going to be problematic, I believe, for the prosecution.
Good. So that's the key sentence we needed to hear. They didn't have the evidence, and that's the problem. They don't have evidence of any of the underlying crimes that supposedly were going to be broken. So, I think that's it. Yeah, that's it for this particular discussion. I have several other articles that you might be interested in the links today. So as you know, I drop links every show at the end of the show. So that's good. Uh-oh, wait a minute. Not enough video being shown. It's still working though. Anyway, that's it, guys. I gotta go. Thank you for joining me today in the Morning Live. I apologize for yesterday. Again, I'm glad my puppy is good, in good health though. And he's still a little sore today though. He was whimpering a little bit this morning, but everything's good. I will be dropping the links into the chat and into the description on Rumble and YouTube. And thank you to the sponsors today. It's nice to have sponsors again. Gunfox 61, Black Hebrew Israelite, Advocatus Diabli, and Zed the Starkey. Oh, wait, not Black Hebrew Israelite. Yeah, no, Black Hebrew Israelite. That was today. So anyway, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. I got to go. My name is P. Dawg Knight And I still have snow in my outro because I didn't get to fix it. Bye-bye. Have a great day. Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the Dawg Knight Channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.